Are the following triangles congruent? If so, write 3 justification statements, the triangle congruent statement, and the justification for why they are congruent or not. So, in this problem, we can see that there are 3 pairs of sides that are congruent between both triangles. So we're going to highlight the corresponding sides that are congruent to one another. So we have that side BC is congruent to side ZX. So we can write that as one of our statements. Side line segment BC is congruent to line segment YZ. We can also see that we have the sides with 2 tick marks that are congruent to one another. So we saw that BC and ZY, the blue segments, have 1 tick mark, but AB and XY have 2 tick marks. So the second statement that we could write is line segment AB is congruent to line segment XY. And then lastly, we can see the side with 3 tick marks shown are also congruent to one another. So we have line segment AC is congruent to line segment XZ. And we'll see here that we have 3 congruence statements. So here are our 3 congruence statements. And because we have 3 sides that are congruent, we can now say that the triangles are congruent. So now we can say our triangle justification. So far we've kind of done these 3 congruent justification statements, and now we're going to do the triangle congruent statement. So we can say triangle ABC, and if we start with ABC, we have to follow in corresponding order. So we'll see that A corresponds with X, B corresponds with Y, and C corresponds with Z based on their position in the triangles. So if we say triangle ABC going 1, 2, 3, we then need to go triangle XYZ following the same corresponding order. And this here is our triangle congruent statement. And because we have, so we can cross that off, and because we have 3 pairs of corresponding sides that are congruent, we can say that these triangles are congruent by side, side, side. And this is like my justification. So we know that if we have 3 corresponding sides that are congruent, that these triangles will also be congruent. So there's the justification for why they are congruent. And we can see that on the sides, in the past in class we've written like having side, side, side as a way to think about having completed all 3 justifications, side, side, side.